My boyfriend has a longtime female friend who's clearly into him and I don't know what to do. This is gonna sound like the typical insecure girlfriend, but I promise it's not like that. My boyfriend and I have been together for over 6 months and he's really great. He has a friend that he's had for years who is a girl. Normally, I'm not the type to be all like, you're not allowed to hang out with a single girl alone, but I'm considering telling my boyfriend that he's not allowed to hang out with this girl alone. This girl is obviously so into him and she definitely wants me to know she's coming for him. She keeps saying stuff like, you don't know him like I do yet. Or, we used to go to that place together all the time long before you guys started dating. She also had cute pet names for him and I didn't like it, and as soon as I heard it, I told my boyfriend I didn't like it and he made her stop. Oh my gosh, Josh, remember when we went on a hike, just the two of us? That was the best day. I asked her straight up if she was into him and her response pissed me off. She was like, I know it's intimidating how close he and I are, but don't worry, you're the girlfriend, I'm just a friend, right? With a smug smile on her face. I got so mad, but I couldn't talk to my boyfriend about it. I want to tell him to cut her out of his life so bad, but I don't know if I can do that. My boyfriend's dad passed away 2 years ago with a heart condition. He told me that his dad was his best friend growing up, so it hit him really hard. That's why he says she's like a sister to him. That's why I don't know what to do. I already asked him to set boundaries, like she can't text late at night or come over to his place unannounced all the time and not interrupting our alone time. He was the only family my boyfriend had. Apparently, this girl really helped him get through it. She apparently was there for him throughout the whole thing. My boyfriend doesn't realize that she's into him, and I kind of don't blame him on that because all of her flirts are subtle enough that he doesn't realize, but enough to get me riled up. I know my boyfriend isn't into her at all and he's completely friend-zoned her, but it's still so frustrating. I hate to admit it, but she's so good at getting under my skin and I don't know what to do. I really need some advice. Am I the asshole for insulting my boyfriend's weight in front of his friends? Relevant to the story, my boyfriend is 6 feet tall and about 229 pounds. I am 5'6" and about 120 pounds. From a medical standpoint, my boyfriend is obese and I am fairly normal weight. I really don't mind his weight. He was obese when I met him and that wasn't a problem for me. He has struggled with his weight for many years and constantly talks about wanting to lose weight but never actually diets or exercises. Again, not a huge deal for me, but I try to be supportive and offer him advice or general encouragement whenever he discusses his desire to lose weight. An occasional point of contention between us is that he has a tendency to offer me diet advice. For example, whenever I make a smoothie, he says, you shouldn't drink those things, they're full of hidden calories. Or when I do strength training, he says, you'll just gain weight because you'll put on too much muscle. It's annoying because nutrition and fitness are actually big passions of mine. I'm not an expert by any means, but I've done several courses and I feel I know more than the average person. Plus, I feel that I can demonstrably show that I can manage my own weight. So I don't like that he constantly feels the need to give me advice. This past weekend, he and I met up with a few of his friends at a beer garden. At some point, the guys were talking about their experiences with online dating. My boyfriend said that he'd used Tinder prior to meeting me, but then he deleted it because there were too many desperate fat chicks. He said this in such a disgusted, dismissive way that I genuinely saw red for a second and just blurted out, seriously, you're going to criticize fat chicks? There was a really long, awkward pause, and then one of his friends made a joke and the conversation sort of moved on, but my boyfriend didn't speak to me for the rest of the evening. He texted me the next day and to say that it was incredibly rude and disrespectful to comment on his weight, especially in front of his friends. He says he thinks he wants a few days away from me to decide whether or not he can forgive me. I agree it was rude of me to call him out in front of his friends, but I also think what he said was obnoxious and borderline sexist. I've apologized to him, but I'm not sure if I'm genuinely the asshole here, so am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for telling my husband he wasn't the one who experienced difficult pregnancy and birth? Me and my husband had our first baby together 3 months ago. We're overjoyed, but like any new parents, we're struggling. My husband recently started posting about how exhausted he is, how having a newborn is exhausting and draining. He posts about everything he does, talks about the fun and calm times he sacrifices, sleepless nights, but he goes to bed at 10 and wakes up at 9. He tells his friends about how demanding it is to be a new parent, completely acting like he's a single dad or something, which is strange because everyone around us noticed how he was acting. He does little compared to me. I do most of the hard work, from feeding, changing diapers, bathing, while he does simple occasional things like going to the store, cleaning the bathtub, or changing the sheets. I was berated by my own parents after seeing his posts. Yesterday, I talked to him about what he's been doing and how he was exaggerating with his posts about his contribution in both our son's care and house chores. I told him he's out there on social media complaining all the time, so much that everyone thinks I'm sleeping 24 hours a day and doing absolutely nothing. He argued that he wasn't lying. I said, well, he wasn't the one who went through the difficult birth experience, that I was struggling for 9 months of intense symptoms and my birth was extremely difficult. I've never experienced anything more difficult in my life and I'm still recovering. I'm not trying to minimize his struggle, but whatever he's dealing with, I'm suffering 10 times more than him despite the physical and emotional stress. I keep my mouth shut and just get things done. He snapped, saying he couldn't believe I made it all about me and that he's in the right to be able to vent and say whatever he wants whenever he pleases. I asked him what's up with the attitude. He's making me look bad to everyone and that is not okay. I asked him please stop or get himself some therapy if he's feeling overwhelmed. He looked at me shocked and then argued that I needed to stop policing his words and opinions and trying to tell him what to feel and how to deal with it. He went into the office and minutes later I saw a new post from him talking about me thinking he's not doing enough and acting as if me going through childbirth makes me a better parent than he is. I thought he was just venting, but I had family and friends reaching out asking if my husband is okay and why I was making him overwork and not giving him a break. Am I the asshole for pouring my drink on someone who threw hers in my face first? I went out clubbing last night with my friends. There were 7 of us, 3 guys including me and 4 girls. My girlfriend Hannah was meant to come too, but she was feeling ill. I offered to stay in with her, but she insisted I go out and have a good time. At the club, my friends got talking to a group of women who apparently worked in finance. They were here for some kind of conference and were checking out the local places in their spare time. One of them, Lauren, started trying to chat to me and asked for my number. She was pretty, but I was not interested as I have a girlfriend. I told her this, but she then started asking for pics of Hannah. I showed her and she said that I could do so much better than that. I was very annoyed and told her to leave me alone. Later on, me and my friends were dancing and Lauren and her group came up to us and she started trying to dance with me. I gave her the brush off once again and moved away from her and she gave me a dirty look. A while later, she came back and by that point, she was very drunk. She smirked at me and threw her drink in my face. I was absolutely fuming and in response, I poured my beer on her head. She started crying and ran to the bouncer who got us all kicked out. Everyone then proceeded to have a go at me. I understand that they were annoyed that we got kicked out, but everyone was acting like I was wrong to pour my drink on her. They all saw her splash her drink in my face, but everyone was saying it was nasty to do that to a girl. The ladies in our group were talking about how upset they'd be if someone ruined their dress, hair, makeup by doing that. But when I pointed out she did the same to me, everyone said it wasn't the same. Nobody said goodbye to me last night and I made my own way home. I told Hannah what happened and she agrees that I didn't do anything wrong. I tried to explain myself again over the group chat, but everyone has ignored me. How do I sort this out in a mature way? Am I the asshole for refusing to let my stepdaughter use my daughter's wedding dress? I met my stepdaughter Zoe 2.5 years ago and I married her father less than 5 months ago. It was a small and private celebration since that's what we felt was the best thing to do since I'm still grieving my daughter Lauren who passed away from sepsis at the age of 26. She was doing okay and was getting ready for her wedding that was supposed to happen the same month she passed away. We still don't know what went wrong. I took most of her belongings including her wedding dress. We bought it together and she put a lot of her own touches on it. Although it hurt to look at it, I made sure it's safe. My stepdaughter Zoe is younger than Lauren. She's 23. We're not very close and distance is one of the reasons why. The issue started when Zoe visited to talk about her wedding in April. We were talking about wedding dresses and she suddenly brought up Lauren's wedding dress. I asked her what about it and she said she saw it several times and it got stuck on her mind. She asked me if she could see it and I let her. She then said she'd like to wear it at her wedding. I felt uneasy. I told her I wasn't sure that was a good idea. She told me it's fine. She'll have to change a few things in it so that it can fit her size and style, but this is why I had a hard time accepting. I told her I was sorry, but I can't let her have it. She offered me money, but its sentimental value is what matters to me. She argued saying I was making things complicated and it was alright since she too is my daughter. She asked if I don't love her as much as my own daughter, and I told her my love for her is different, but she threw a fit calling me unfair and unreasonable, and I still said no. Her dad got involved in the argument saying he doesn't see why I'm against it. I declined to discuss it anymore, but they keep bringing it up asking if my daughter would have wanted someone else to have the opportunity to wear this dress since she unfortunately couldn't. This made me so mad I lashed out at both of them and kept saying no. Others said I had no right to act like that. What's the point of leaving the dress in the closet when my stepdaughter can make good memories in it? Am I the asshole for not wanting to give her the dress?